my fairy kin. Galela, Halia, I summon thee. Attend!
What is it, grandmother?
You summoned.
And we have come.
Greetings, my children. There is urgent business. Trouble is coming to the Isle of Man.
Trouble?
Trouble?
What sort of trouble?
A murder has been foretold.
Murder? Is this murder for certain?
Or is it unlikely?
It is a warning of that which may come.
Then there's time to grant it.
There is time. You must call together Pike and Halberd the Brownies, as well as Cobweb and Moonbeam the Sprites. Their charges are all involved, as well as yours.
Our charges? That seems unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
It is nonetheless true. Call your brothers and sisters here. There's no time to waste.
As you say, grandmother.
Through the sands of country, the mountain, the brine, the faithful dwell to this day.
Fly or run, yes, hither have we come, as we call every spirit to this meadow. Swim, fly or run, yes, hither have we come, as we call every spirit to this meadow. Oh, we hear sons of man on the clear, leap like lions to the fray. Swim, fly, or run, yes, thither how we come, as we call every spirit to the meadow. Swim, fly, or run, yes, thither how we come, as we call every spirit to the meadow.
With the best for last British brides unsurpassed, in song or dance bright in gale. Swim, fly, or run, yes, in the have we come, as we call every spirit to this meadow. Swim, fly, or run, yes, in the have we come, as we call every spirit to this meadow.
What's the trouble?
Are we under attack? Why are we here?
Who brought snuff?
Is it the
Everyone
orcs?
listen.
The orcs. Are they back?
Oh,
If it's orcs, I'm
everyone,
going back to
please.
my armor. It's not orcs.
Well, thank the old ones. You can't wash the smell of orc out of your clothes, not even with lemongrass.
Don't tell me it's that blasted Fendry.
Oh.
Has it stripped off all his clothes again?
Is there anyone about to sitting naked again?
No! I just hope it's not the multitude.
Not that horrible hound. Listen, everyone.
Dog, then why do I get livelies?
Every I tell you, I've got. Thank you, brothers
And sisters, we called here tonight because our charges are in danger. Grandmother called us here to the sacred tree to give warning of a terrible disruption here in the Isle of Man.
Disruption! Ah, you mean a war!
No,
Not a war.
a murder.
Murder?
Is this murder a for certain, or is it a might be?
It still might be
We've got to keep the people of the Isle of Man in harmony.
to prevent this terrible deed.
Who is it?
Who's the killer?
The would-be killer, you mean?
Is it one of our charges?
We don't know who it is.
And there's no point in jumping to conclusions.
What is it, grandmother? Attend the spirit of the forest, and you will know what she knows.
Quiet, everyone!
Now we'll get some answers.
There's a devil in my house. Is this murder? I'll murder you.
It's a dark night and the rotten leaves are lying by the way.
And above all is mist and darkness, and below all is mire and clay. And
worse than we dared imagine.
To work, brothers and sisters, to work!
Don your cricket helms and get to your charges quickly.
About that. You see...
We aren't doing that cricket bit anymore.
What do you mean? Our appearance in human presence has always been as crickets. It's tradition.
The humans are used to seeing us as crickets.
Been the crickets on the hearth since Madame Nana
I know, but it's that Tackleton.
Every time we start to trip our lovely song, that sour, cantankerous misanthrope squashes us flat.
Cobweb, show them your cricket tone. And here's a sweet little cricket for you. But you must have a disguise.
You cannot allow the humans to see us in our true form.
I know. We're now the Beatles.
Beatles.
And instead of chirping,
Which drives little Buzzard to conniptions.
we click.
Click.
Attend.
Well, all right then. Sprites, brownies, and fairies, don your cricket and beetle helms and get to your charges for the Isle of Man.
For the Isle of Man!
To battle!
To battle!
We go. Look how we go.
And may all the magic in this misty isle aid you in your cause.
Oh yes, Mrs. Peerybingle, it's on the orb. We'll have a nice pot of tea before you can paint a goose.
And how is it that I found the kettle and Mercy's crib?
That don't make no sense, Mrs. Peerybingle. The kettle's in the crib. Oh, blimey. Oh, Mercy. Oh dear. Oh, sweet baby. Oh dear. Here you go. I've got you. We'll get a fresh towel for you. It's all right. Oh, there we go. All right, I've got you, love. Here you go. Oh, that's right. I couldn't find the tea cosy, so I put the kettle in the crib to keep it nice and warm. Here, you take sweet Mercy and I'll get the kettle on straight away.
Oh, my little Mercy feels a little warm. I hope she doesn't have a fever.
Oh, no, I'm sure she's fine. We was just sitting by the fire. She just got a little toasty, that's all.
Not too close to the fire, I hope, Tilly. Remember what happened last week?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Peerybingle.
Is that supper I smell on the stove already?
Oh, no, just the kettle for tea. Got a nice cold hog's knuckle for supper with bread and butter and jam for when Mr. Peerybingle gets home from his deliveries.
Tilly, it's all so wonderful.
What's wonderful, Mrs. Peerybingle?
Life, Tilly, life. Family, home, my sweet little Mercy, doting husband, and you.
Me? I'm wonderful, Mrs. Peerybingle.
Yes, Tilly, in your own way.
Blimey, I feel the blush coming on.
A home can fill your senses with the things that you hold dear. All the simple pleasures that you see, smell, touch, taste, and hear. All the subtle wonders that can make your senses real and fill your heart to bursting with the happiness you feel.
Oh, give us a for instance.
Smell of
I was drawing up. I thought I might be walking into the Frog and Mallet public.
Oh, you silly old fool. Oh, my heavens, you're cold as a corpse.
Well, that ain't exactly summer out there, Mrs. Peerybingle. North wind's been howling across the cart without let up. Here, give us a little mercy. Well, I've been missing her all day.
Don't you sit by the fire and warm up, if you'll freeze a little, dear.
Freeze? This one? Hardly. Just look at that face. Both eyes are blinking, that mouth a gasping. She'll not mind the cold. She's a little goldfish.
Horrid old man, you wouldn't know a goldfish from a baby with as much time you spend tending to her needs.
Tending to her needs? You mean like a roof over her head and mutton on the table? Careful, my lady. If a twig gets too near the fire, it might catch.
A twig?
Did I say twig? More like a switch, a slender switch to keep a mule to task.
And it's a stubborn old mule I married. Here's your daughter, and here's your pipe, and don't confuse the two.
Oh, Hickory, an honest mistake! Oh, dear!
What's going on in Tilly?
And out of a bottle, I shouldn't wonder.
How's that, dear?
Nothing you smoke your pipe up with the parcels in the basket. There's not many today. Oh, what's this, John? Oh, it's alive. It's a wedding cake. It's a wedding cake, John.
Leave it to a woman to suss that out. No man could, I wager.
Who's it for, John?
Well, read the box if you dare.
Gruff and Tackleton. You don't mean to say that that marriage has actually been brokered?
It looks that way.
Poor May.
Well, she won't be poor anymore. That's the scheme of it, I
John.
imagine. Well, let's not call a donkey a dragon. May's mother, what with a major, losing all of his money in unwise investments. Then he up and dies, leaving the two of them destitute. And what with May's fiancé, drowned at sea.
Poor Edward, he loved her so.
And she him, as did we all.
It's like a spider web the way we're all connected. Poor Caleb put every cent he had in Edward's business ventures in the South Americas.
Dear Caleb, with his poor blind Betty to take care of, left without a cent to their name.
And isn't it the same spider snatched them up too?
And Gruff and Tackleton gave them a place to live and a means to make a living. That's nothing to fault Tackleton for.
He has the two of them living in the workshop. In the workshop, John. Is that Christian charity?
You're right, dear. It's not much. But did we offer to take them in when word came that Edward was lost? Did anyone?
Now, John.
And how many do you know would pay a wage to a blind woman? A pittance of a wage, mind you, but a wage nonetheless.
Well, perhaps, but that's no excuse to go buying up a poor, sweet, innocent girl just because her family's fallen on hard times. It's true Wilhelmina Fielding fears poverty more than she fears the devil, but Tackleton knows what a wrong he's doing.
Mary, my love, that is a thread I don't think you want to tug too hard on.
And what is your meaning in that, John Peerybingle?
Nothing.
Don't nothing me, John, or you'll get nothing from me for your nothing if you know what I'm not saying.
I do indeed, Mrs. Peerybingle. Caleb told me that Tackleton was pretty cool on the whole idea of marrying May. Tackleton didn't think it would be a good match.
What changed his mind?
Not what? Who?
Who would do such a thing?
You.
Me?
Well, according to Caleb, Wilhelmina held you and I up as example of how a few years separation don't necessarily make for a bad match.
You and I, you're nothing like Tackleton, and I'm nothing like May. And I'm older than May by a bit, and you're younger than Tackleton by how many years, would you say?
More years than I've had cups of tea this week, I'd wager, but not so many that it doesn't give me a bit of a sting when I hear old man, or old goat, or old anything, really.
Dear son, those are just foolish ways in which a wife tells her husband that she loves him, and that she's happy and content. Please tell me you know that.
I do indeed, old gal. Hey-o, I think the crickets are putting on a symphony. You hear them?
I do, John. I love their sound. I don't know why, but I do. Do you remember that very first day you brought me home here to be your wife and share this house?
I do. It was the happiest day of my life when I brought you home to be these little crickets' mistress.
Really the happiest.
'Tis true, but there's been a score more happiest days since then.
I was so nervous and scared that first day.
Were you?
I so wanted to be a good wife to you, and I did so hope that you would learn to love me.
Learn to love you? Well, sure I loved you before I asked your father for your hand.
Didn't know that. Didn't know anything, but I'll never forget when I first came into this house. The sound of the crickets on the hearth, they set my mind to ease. They seemed to say that this would be a happy home, and it is. And ever since then, whenever I've been anxious or sad, those crickets have cheered me. And I love them for it. Don't laugh, it's true, I love them for it.
And I love them too.
Well, you're not just saying that.
Well, how could I not love something that pleases you so? Sound that lifts our spirits is the crickets when they sing. Don't ask us why, we can't explain the harmony they bring. Whenever they are singing, we feel peaceful as a dove. A cricket on your hearth is sure to fill your house with love. There's a sound so bright and cheery, there's a tune so sweet and gay. When the day seems drab and dreary, the tiny voices chase those clouds away, away.
And I promise, John, on my honor, you shan't hear the word old pass my lips when describing you, my sweet, handsome husband.
Someday it'll be true and you can say it all you like. Someday I'll be as old as...
John, what is it, John?
The old geezer!
What old geezer?
I plumb forgot. That's what I did. I left the old fellow asleep out in my cart. I hope he hasn't frozen to death. He's all paid for. Oi, Commodore! Stand around! I will say, you are a fine sound sleeper.
Who is it? Who's he got in the court with him?
I don't know. He looks to be 100 years old. He's got a cane and he's just hunched over the bar.
Can you see if he's wearing the wedding ring?
Over here, old salt. Sit by the... Now this way. Steady on. Sit by the fire. Are you all right? You all right?
Can I get you a nice cup of hot tea?
He's deaf as a post.
How about tea?
If it wouldn't be too much of a bother, my agent should come to call for me before very long.
No bother at all. You just let the fire do its job and I'll be right back with a nice cup of hot tea.
Lovely girl.
Yes.
She your daughter?
Wife.
Niece, you say?
Wife.
Very young.
Yes, I know. I'm married to her.
Is that your son?
Daughter. Girl.
Also very young.
She's 7 weeks and 4 days, which is the customary age for a 2-month-old baby.
Hand me my little goldfish, Tilly, and get the door, please.
Here you are, Mr. Peerybingle.
Tilly.
Come in. Hello.
Oh, hello, Caleb Plummer.
Hello,
John.
Caleb. Hello.
Hello, Tilly.
Hello, Caleb.
Oh, and good day to you, Mrs. Peerybingle. Oh, and hello to you, unbeknownst. And how's our little Mercy doing today? Fine, I hope?
Oh, you'd better look at her to see, Caleb.
She's come through her vaccinations, and Dr. McDonald says she's as fit a specimen as he's seen in the last half-century.
Ooh, well done, Mercy, well done. Say, anything in the post for me, John?
That there is, Caleb. It's right here on the coat rack. There you are. Caleb, something important.
Oh, glass doll's eyes. We run completely out, and what with the holiday season, it's a good deal to keep pace with the demand, and we're quite desperate to get them sewn on.
I'll say who'd want a doll with no eyes. I mean...
So, business is brisk at Gruff and Tackleton.
Oh, quite brisk, Mary, quite brisk. Mr. Tackleton keeps us hopping.
I bet he does. I'll just bet he does.
Mary?
And how is Betty?
Oh, well and strong. You know Betty, nothing keeps her down.
She's a marvel, she is.
So looking forward to our lunch tomorrow, Caleb.
Oh, she's been looking forward to tomorrow's luncheon since the moment you walked out from past.
As do I.
As do I, Caleb.
How we all do.
Oh, yes, our little get-togethers are a great comfort and source of joy to us both. Oh, the package. What's the damage, John?
No damages, Caleb. That parcel's too small to take notice of. I just put it in my pocket.
Oh, you're too kind, John. But that's your way. If only my son Edward had come back safe and sound from the golden South Americas, we wouldn't have to worry about a few pennies. Yeah, he was sharp, my Edward. Sharp as a tack. And a good head for business, too.
A very bright young man, Caleb.
Yes, he was. You've done a lot for him, John. I know you loved him like a son. I know it's true.
Well, more like A younger brother, I should think.
Well, we'll see. You can't dwell on what could have been, should have been. Must stay in the present. Oh, speaking of which, has my employer been by today?
Tackleton! I should think he's busy out robbing cradles.
Mary?
Oh, I mean to say, making his monstrous nutcrackers. Does anyone ever buy those devilish things?
Oh, not so much around here, but they're all the rage in Paris, and he sells a lot to the folks in Germany as well.
Really?
Oh, yes, the more grotesque they are, the more they seem to adore them.
They give me night frights just to look at them.
Oh, it please him no end to hear you say that. Speaking of which, he said that if I see him on the road, I should track him down and he'd give me a ride back to the shop.
Well, he's not been here.
Oh, I'm sure he's out spreading joy and good cheer.
Mary?
Peerybingle! Ah, Peerybingle, you're in.
Oh, and Mr. Tackleton!
Oh, you've come for your parcels, no doubt, Mr. Tackleton.
Quite right, Peerybingle, quite right. Compliments of the day to you, Mrs. Peerybingle. You're looking quite lovely as ever, and younger, too. That's the devil's truth of it.
Why, Mr. Tackleton, I wouldn't expect compliments from you, given your new situation.
Yes, I see you've heard of my impending marriage. I suppose you had a difficult time believing it.
Nigh on impossible, Mr. Tackleton.
I don't doubt it, Mrs. Peerybingle. I don't doubt it. But come this Sunday, if you'll do Mrs. Tackleton, that is to be and I, the service of attending our wedding, you may come to believe it well enough. We are, after all, are we not? A pair of pears.
A pair of pears?
Yes, both in the same boat, as it were.
What boat is that, Mr. Tackleton?
Well, our situations are similar in that there is a bit of a disparity in ages, which makes our marital status of the like type.
Of the like type, indeed. So I suppose that means you and little May will want to be starting a family as well. We are, after all, are we not, a pair of pears?
Come now, Mary. We know you're just having a bit of fun with Mr. Tackleton. She's just having a bit of fun. We all know how you feel about children.
Oh, do you now? Do you indeed? And how, pray tell, exactly do I feel about children?
You despise them, but you love nothing more in the world than to frighten them out of their wits.
What has one thing got to do with the
Oh,
other?
Mrs. Peerybingle didn't mean anything by it. She was just making a polite conversation. That's the long and the short of it.
Polite conversation. Hardly. What Mrs. Peerybingle was doing was speaking her mind, which rarely, if ever, enters into polite conversation.
Now, Mr. Tackleton.
Peerybingle, I meant it as a compliment. I'm not one for mincing words. I'll explain this once, so listen well. I wish everyone to see just what a joy each girl and boy brings to folks like me. Every child's a blessing, every teeny tiny tot.
Hey.
And here are just a few of the reasons that I've got.
1,
Every child is spoiled, that's a given, that's a fact.
2,
Every child's a greedy, self-indulgent little brat.
3,
Buy me this and buy me that, wanting everything they see. Every child's a blessing to the retail industry.
William wants a whistle, Sally sees a doll. Kevin's craving candy, but Annie wants it all.
Torrid times of terrors, tossing tantrums, fits and rages. But it's that familial blackmail which generates your wages.
Tommy pulled my pigtail, sister gave me such a kick. Mom, I proved me bridges clean, me bum up double quick. Double quick.
And each December 25th, the avarice astounding, pleading, begging, bargaining, threatening and hounding, ravaging the packages beneath the Christmas tree. Every child's a blessing to the toy makers like me.
Every child's a blessing, everyone you see. Every child's a blessing to the Manx economy.
Every child's a blessing, the stars above I thank. Every child's a blessing I can take straight to the bank. Every whining lassie,
Every sticky finger tot.
every pouting Polly,
Every nose a dripping snot.
Every greedy laddie.
Every kid throughout the ages
every single loving one of them.
ought to be put in cages.
Now you know my feelings on this subject, oh so dear.
I hope I've been quite thorough and my sentiment is clear. For when I see a family walking toward me in a line, I consider it a blessing. A blessing, they're not mine.
I see. Oh, thank you, Mr. Tackleton, for clearing that up.
Oh, you're welcome. Caleb,
Oh, yes, Mr. Tackleton.
would you be so good as to take my packages out to the cars?
Oh,
Careful. Don't drop that cake or I'll murder you. Now then, Peerybingle. John, might I have a word with you in private?
I don't see why not. Well, what can I do you for?
Who is that ridiculous character in the corner?
Him? He's just a parcel waiting to be picked up.
Well, I prefer this conversation stay between the two of us.
Don't worry about him. He can't hear a word we're saying. Isn't that right, sir? Deaf as a post.
Oh, no, I don't need any toast. The tea is plenty. Thank you all the same.
See what I mean?
he's got a marvelous look, don't you think, Mr. Tackleton, for a nutcracker? Can't you just see him with the jawbone down to his waistcoat and a shock of white hair just popping out of his hat? He makes a great character for a nutcracker, wouldn't he be, Mr. Tackleton?
No, not ugly enough. Sorry, old fellow, not quite ugly enough. Caleb,
Yes, Mr. Tackleton.
is that ludicrous coat of yours warm?
Oh, quite warm, quite warm.
Good, then wait for me out in the cart. I'll be along presently.
Bye, John.
Bye, Caleb.
Bye, Tilly. Bye, Mary. See you all tomorrow.
Now then, John, I do hope you and Mrs. Peerybingle will be able to attend the wedding.
Well, the thing of it is,
I know your wife has no use for me. She thinks me an ogre.
Oh, no, I wouldn't go that.
Don't bother to deny it. It's true. I'm a toy maker. I feed on children. Their appetites put food on my table, and I'll not apologize for that. And as for taking delight in frightening them, that's true as well. People say I don't have a sense of humor. They're wrong. I have a singular sense of humor. It's my own. I'll not apologize for that either.
What is it you want from me?
Well, you and Mrs. Peerybingle, what is referred to in tea-drinking society as a comfortable appearance. And as I've said before, there's a disparity in ages between May Fielding and myself.
But
so it is my desire to assuage any discomfiture that my young bride might be experiencing. You know how women are.
Do I?
Yes, one woman says how happy she is, how wonderful her husband is, how attentive he is. And the other woman, compelled by feminine competitiveness, says her husband is the same, or more so, and so on and so forth, until they almost believe it themselves.
Are you saying they don't
Don't what?
believe what they're saying?
Look at Mrs. Peerybingle. She does you honor, certainly. She is dutiful and respectful. But a girl of her age, do you really think there's anything more than that to the relationship?
I do believe I'd throw any man out the window who said there wasn't.
Oh, I see. I do believe you would. Well, let's leave it at that. I still hope you'll be able to attend the wedding. I know it would mean a great deal to my fiancée.
Well, the situation is this. That's our first wedding anniversary, and Mary and I have plans to spend it here at home alone.
What is that infernal noise? The crickets! It's like a plague. Why don't you smash them?
Smash the crickets! Are you insane? They're good luck!
No, they're an infernal infestation. It's best to be rid of them.
Stop right there, Mr. Tackleton. This is my home, and these are my crickets. In my home, they're treated as guests.
Oh, very well. I'll leave you to your guests. But tomorrow, I believe, is the day that you and your wife visit Betty Plummer for your little picnic.
That's true.
And May and her mother are generally in attendance.
Yes?
Well, since all of you will be meeting in my shop, I will make so bold as to join the festivities. I'll bring a leg of mutton and some other trivialities to join in the repast. Good day to you, Mrs. Peerybingle. Miss Slowboy, see you tomorrow, John. Enjoy your crickets.
See you tomorrow? What's that all about, John?
Tackleton is coming to the picnic tomorrow, and he's bringing a leg of mutton.
Give him a leg of mutton.
Mary, Christian charity, remember?
I'm sorry, John, it's too soon. Edward's been dead less than a year. It don't be right. Oh,
happened?
Does your daughter need a doctor?
Wife! And no, do you?
No, no, doctor. I'm fine, just something flashed before my eyes, that's all. See, good as new.
Oh, you don't seem like you're good as new.
This doesn't seem like the most opportune moment. I loathe to think it, but I fear my agent has forgot me. You think it might be possible just for a night or two for me to rent a bed from you, just until I can get a word to my agent?
Well,
Well, of course you can. We'd be happy to.
well, of course, I have no particular objections.
We'll make up a bed in the spare room. It'll be no trouble at all.
It's very kind, thank you. I'm sorry to be a bother.
No bother at all. We'll do it right away. It's my pleasure.
Yes, well, I suppose it's all right.
What a lovely young lady.
Yes.
You say she's your daughter?
I swear, Charles, it's like trying to pull a stump. We're shopping for a dress, not wading through a bog.
I believe I'd rather wade through a bog. What do I need a wedding gown for? It's not that kind of a wedding. It's not that sort of a marriage, is it, Mother?
It's the sort of marriage you should be grateful for. I know it's not trivial, but that ship has sailed and sunk.
Mother, how could you?
I'm sorry, you know. I was very fond of Edward, but Edward is gone. Your father is gone and all of our money is gone, and yet here we are in the world without a cent to our names.
But why Gruff and Tackleton, Mother? He's thrice my age.
Don't be histrionic, May.
He's twice your age, Mother.
Don't you dare to presume to know my age! And that topic is not to be bandied about in the streets of Castleton where any passers-by might be eavesdropping.
I've agreed to this transaction, but why do we have to pretend it's something other than what it is?
Whatever the motivation, it is still a wedding, and thus requires the wearing of a dress. Unless you plan to go attired as Lady Godiva.
Don't be histrionic, Mother. Let's go purchase a dress. Poor dear looks frozen to death. That's the last one, Father. Every dot has been eyed. Now every doll can see every bit as well as me.
Oh, how you do joke, my dear daughter.
Well, what makes a joke humorous is that it's true.
No. What makes a joke humorous is that it doesn't cause pain.
You're wrong there, Father. For every fellow's comedy is always someone else's tragedy. And those that are happiest are the ones that can see the comedy in their own tragedy.
And are you happy?
Hysterically so. Because I find humor in other people finding tragedy in my comedy.
You've lost me, child.
I've a splendid example. This afternoon, while you were at John and Mary's picking up the eyes and I was left to watch the shop, I overheard two ladies discussing a third woman's young daughter who was out on the sidewalk looking in through the window. The first lady says to the second,
Such a darling lass. It's a pity her lazy eye spoils her looks.
So I piped right up and I said, You think her eye is lazy? Why, mine are so lazy they downright refuse to work at all.
You didn't really.
I most certainly did. And though I can't attest to the looks on their faces, their gasps spoke volumes.
If Mr. Tackleton knew you were teasing the customs, he wouldn't allow you to mind the toy shop. He's quite dubious as it is about your ability to make proper change.
We both know I've never made a mistake counting change. The same cannot be said about you or Mr. Tackleton.
True enough. True enough. But seriously, though, are you happy here at Gruff and Tackleton?
Truly, I couldn't ask for anything more. We've a delightful home, we've a trade we both love, and a kind-hearted employer who's always looking out for us.
Yeah, kind-hearted. That's a description for Mr. Tackleton. Always joking.
Always pretending to be grouchy and irritable, and all the while winking and nodding and having us on.
A merry place is Gruff and Tackleton. That's a fact.
Describe it to me, Father.
I've told you over 100 times, and it hasn't changed a whit in the last 99.
I know, but I never get tired of hearing you tell it. Our cozy home.
All right. It's much the same as usual. Very cozy, and snug. Gay colors all over the walls. Bright flowers all over the plates and dishes. Shiny wood wherever there are beams and panels. The general cheerfulness and cleanness make it a very pretty building.
Oh, speaking of very pretty, you were out today for the first time in your new greatcoat.
Oh, and a marvel of a coat it is.
Well, I'll wager it's warm and dry.
Oh yes, quite. Even Mr. Tackleton made comment on it. You know, I think he's a bit envious of it.
I suspect you look very handsome in it. You say it's blue.
A bluish.
Huh. And that you say is the color of the sky.
Oh yes, on a clear day. In fact, it's so grand I was embarrassed to be wearing it today.
Embarrassed? Whatever for?
Well, I was walking down the street near the church, and a poor beggar man says to me, "Oh, kind gentleman, can you spare a copper or two?" And I told him, "Dear friend, I'm no gentleman. I'm just a poor toy maker." Well, he wouldn't believe me. He said, "Dressed so refined, you must be a gentleman." I had a devil of a time convincing him I wasn't.
Oh.
Well, enough about me and my fine coat. It's the time the two of us should get back to work.
I am, Father. Happy, that is. There's only one thing in this whole world that could make me happier.
And what is that, my dear Betty?
Oh, if you would sing while we work.
Get busy, and we'll see. Man's home is his castle, but a castle's made
a child's home's a kingdom where the heart has room to roam. And if that heart is loving, it will never be alone. Be alone. Be alone. Be alone. Be kind and wise and loving, and don't build a house of stone. Be gentle, true, and open, and you'll never be alone. Populate your kingdom with friends who'll serve you true, with gallant knights and ladies fair, and of course an old king too. Let forgiveness be your guiding light that shines throughout the land, always treating others with a fair and even hand. And so Mrs. Castle, but a castle's made of stone, made of stone, made of stone, made of stone. A stone is strong and sturdy, but will cheer ya to the bone, to the bone, to the bone, to the bone. But a child's home's a kingdom where the heart has room to roam. And if that heart is loving, it will never be alone. Be alone, be alone, be alone.
Well, if I'd known I was paying you two to sing, I would have requested Bonnie Prince Charming.
Oh, Mr. Tackleton.
Oh, I'm glad that you have time to sit about singing. I know I don't.
Oh, no, we were hard at it. It's just that a song makes the time pass a little more pleasant.
Father dear, Mr. Tackleton was only teasing you. Having a bit of fun in his merry way, isn't that right, Mr. Tackleton?
Caleb, please take the time to explain to your simpleton daughter the cold, hard realities of running a business, if you think that she can grasp it. You see? There she goes again. She should be fitted for straitjacket. Miss Plum, can you understand the words I'm saying to you now?
Yes.
Good, then listen carefully and try not to let my words fall through your brain like a sieve. Can you do that?
I'll do my best, Mr. Tackleton.
Tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, is your once a fortnight luncheon with the Peerybingles and the Fieldings. Is that not so?
It is indeed so.
Yes, well, I would like to join the festivities.
Oh, did you hear that, Father?
Yeah, well, I heard it, though I don't believe it.
Well, I'd very much like to bring the Peerybingles into closer circle with Miss Fielding and I, as we are to be married the day after tomorrow.
Married? Oh, you're marrying Mrs. Fielding.
The woman is hopeless. I suppose it comes from sitting about in darkness day in and day out. To Miss Fielding, Miss May Fielding.
I don't understand.
You see, Caleb, she cannot comprehend the simplest concept.
I comprehend you say you're marrying May Fielding on Sunday. What I don't understand is why.
Why? You poor blind thing. I see your father has not bothered you with some of the more complex areas of adulthood. I understand. It's understandable. They don't really concern you now, do they? Caleb, do see that she remembers what I've said and cover up that tally board, would you? Our business is our own. There's a good chap. Watch the shop for me, would you? I have some errands to run.
Oh, she won't forget what you said, Mr. Tackleton. It's one of the few things the poor dear ain't clever at.
Poor dear. Poor blind thing! angry, they don't mean to be unkind. They say, poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind. I don't know why it riles me so, you think I'd be resigned. When they say, poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind. What's this talk about the darkness? There's no darkness in my mind. If they only saw what I see, they'd be shocked at what they find. A world of thoughts and feelings, not just pictures in my head, where they have their shapes and colors, I've emotions there instead. It shouldn't make me angry, they don't mean to be unkind. When they say, poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind. I don't know why it riles me so, you think I'd be resigned. When they say, poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind. Can they feel the rain clouds moving? Do they hear a spider crawl? Do they sense a sign for supper by the shadows as they fall? Do they know a child is happy by his footsteps down the hall? Can they tell when someone loves them? No, they can't tell, not at all. It shouldn't make me angry, they don't mean to be unkind. When they say, poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind. I don't know why it riles me so, you think I'd be resigned. When they say, poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind. Poor sightless Betty, what a pity that she's blind.
She may be blind, but she's got a temper. I've seen the proof on it.
Play the poor little germ. I drew herself hard.
I'm telling you, he very nearly threw Tackleton out the window.
Indeed. Why, she hurled that thing across the room, smashing it into
She
many
screamed out like
bits.
she stuck
I've
up
never
pins
seen
just
her like
like
that.
there.
It was as if she were possessed.
I started thinking maybe that's the old woman's plan. She sees to it that her young daughter gets married to a rich old man and he must...
You should have all the way his fist tighten up. Every time someone makes mention of his young woman.
Ah, he had a wood chisel in his hand, and when Tackleton say she should be fitted for a straight jacket, I saw a look flash across his eyes, and I swear it was murder!
Calm yourself. This isn't helping. Things are getting worse.
I bet they are. Everything's off kilter.
Oh, I'm afraid we're losing this war.
Grandmother, hear us. We need your advice.
I'm here, my children. There is no time for despair. You must redouble your efforts, treble them if need be. Now it is time to find the balance in yourselves, your strength, your brotherhood, and the power in your voices.
Have a sacred trust, and to keep that trust we must protect this ancient land, our beloved Isle of Man. There's a magic in our song, music makes our power us do our part and awaken every heart to love and brotherhood. Treat each other as we should. Our voices hold the key to peace and harmony. We are the ties that bind our people all together. We are the ties that bind our people all together, Though creatures are we free, very stripes and brownies be, united all as one, the victory is won. And every human heart is light and loving. We are the ties that bind our people. We are the ties that bind our people all together,
Lovely bit of mutton, Mr. Tackleton. Lovely.
Yes, it's a very handsome leg of mutton.
Thank you.
Yes, I can't recall ever seeing its equal.
Got it from the butcher's, I suppose.
Yes, the dentist and the dressmaker said they were fresh out of mutton.
Just so.
Nay, why don't you sing us a song? She has a lovely voice. The Major and I used to sit for hours just listening to her sing.
We're here to enjoy each other's company, Mother, not listen to me sing.
Yes, well, I, for one, would very much like to hear you sing.
I really don't think...
Don't be peevish, May. I mean modest. She's a very modest girl.
Yes, May. Please do. I love your voice. It always cheers me.
All right, Betty, for you. What shall I sing?
Something from your church choir, perhaps.
Something enigmatic.
I'll do my best.
"'Twas well before the age of man dwelt the gods, and all their clan. High on Olympus they did play, save for one solitary god.
The old fellow is lodging with us till he gets his agent straightened out. You'll give him room in the house till we go, won't you, Caleb?
Of course, John, of course, sir. Welcome, sir. All friends here.
It's all friendly.
He'll just sit right over here by the stove and look pleasant. Won't be any bother at all, will you, old salt?
Oh, I brought some sliced veal, a lovely wheel of cheese, and a loaf of bread.
No, and I brought 2 bowls of beer.
Ah, there you are. Oh, what was that round of applause for when we came in? Did you think we was a troop of clowns?
I'm afraid you just missed May's performance.
How's that?
Oh, Mary, I do love your voice. Sing us something again.
Oh, perhaps later. Mary, good to see you.
And to you, May. Hello, Wilhelmina.
Mary.
Mrs. Peerybingle, a pleasure as always seeing you.
And that very same pleasure seeing you. Oh, look, you brought a leg of mutton.
Yes, apparently it rivals Michelangelo's David.
So, what's it to be? Cards? Charades? Archery?
How about a lovely drinking game? There's always a jolly icebreaker.
Oh, how about
Oh, it wasn't a corner. Sweet piggy squeal.
We love that one.
Mansions of happiness. It's morally educational. And fun.
Blind man's bluff.
Oh, not that. I'd win every time, John.
Oh, I've got it. Since this is Mr. Tackleton's first time joining us, let's sing the Boggy Isle song.
Well done, Caleb.
As the new attendee, you should start us off, Mr. Tackleton.
I'm afraid I haven't got a foggy idea what the Foggy Isle song is.
Oh, it's quite simple, Mr. Tackleton. Everyone makes up a verse that describes how they or their people came to live here on the Isle of Man.
Well, I don't fancy I'm clever enough to make up a verse on the fly, as it were.
No, even a simpleton like myself can do it, Mr. Tackleton. You wouldn't want to be shown for having less sense than a simpleton, now would you?
I don't know this song, not a word of it.
Oh, we'll start. You can join in later, Tom.
Oh, I've been volunteered now, am I? Grandfather came from London working in a factory, but cramming heat a undersea, a land of mystery. So you got into a rowboat and paddled out to sea. They rode into a fog bank and struck upon the sand, and that's how you came to dwell on the foggy Isle of Man.
The major's boss was older while he lived down here in time. He treated a whale fortune, and that's when he expired. He still had a tiny cottage that meant more than he to me.
So you got into a rowboat and paddled out to sea.
Now we live in that should fit him by as best we done.
And that's how you came to dwell on the foggy Isle of Man.
My father lived in Pontypool when I was just a lad. He dreamed of tropic islands and adventures to be had. He yearned for balmy Bali where the coconuts are free.
So you got into a rowboat and paddled out to sea.
And our rowboat sprung a leak and so we headed for dry land.
And that's how you came to dwell on the foggy Isle of Man.
Along the lanes of Liverpool, my story just begins. Where I read about an island that was all comprised of eggs. And that's where I'm waiting on an island all for me.
So you got into a rowboat and paddled out to sea.
Imagine my frustration when I came to understand.
And that's how you came to dwell on the foggy Isle of Man.
My ancestors' land was stripped up by the giant in the pool.
And tossed across the ocean at some rival Scottish fool.
He made a vow to fetch it back and found brook and tree.
So you got into a rowboat and paddled out to sea.
But decided just to leave it cause the fishing was so bad.
And that's how you came to dwell on the foggy Isle of Man. And that's how you came to dwell on the foggy Isle of Man. Hey!
days at school.
You make it sound as if it were a distant memory. Surely you can't be out of school more than 3 years at most.
Seems so much longer. This life seems almost unconnected somehow from that simple time.
My only schooling was Edward and father.
Yes. We used to read to her till our voices were whittled down to a whisper. And then she'd beg for some more.
It's a marvel how different life turns out from the way you imagine it in your youth.
In my case, it turned out better than I ever could have imagined.
When I was younger, I had no notion of John. Well, I'd see him nearly every day, of course, but if you would have told me I'd marry him one day, well, I'd be so shocked you could knock me over with a feather.
My wife, she's such a romantic.
And may I wager if I told you you'd marry Gruff and Tackleton one day, why, you would have slapped me hard, I should think.
No doubt.
I don't know about anyone else, but I say it's time to eat.
Oh, I think you're right, John, now that we've all sung for supper. Oh, not everyone.
Our new friend over there by the stove trying to be ever so quiet. Oh, we haven't heard a peep out of him.
Oh, let's not trouble him, Betty, he's quite old.
Trouble him? Well, he'll talk your ear off when no one else is about. What do you say, Commodore? Will you croak us out of tune just to be sociable?
Well, yes, I'd like to hear his voice.
Yes, it's only fair. I had to do it, and it didn't kill me much.
Oh, but the old fella has a lovely singing voice.
Sing
Thank you, Sandy!
So I know a shanty or two.
Oh, are you sure it wouldn't be too taxing?
You leave him be, Mary. He's old enough to know his mind.
That I am. Well, all right then, you asked for it.
This isn't going to be one of those bawdy songs about bow-legged women, is it?
Not at all. A song about love and keeping your promise. The September chill did neither one feel, sharing vows they would always remember. One last kiss, Lauralee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December. I'll be back come snowy December. I'll be waiting right here. She breathed in his ear as he slipped a gold ring round her finger. His tender kiss she already missed, and upon Danny's lips did she linger. Upon Danny's lips did she linger. One last kiss, Lauralee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December. Danny already yearned for the day he'd return as he boarded his ship, Annie Jane. Soaked to the bone, his bride waited alone till the sails disappeared in the rain.
Till the sails disappeared in the rain.
500 or more bound for Canada ashore, where a new life of promise awaited. But a merciless sea proved it wasn't to be, for the brig Annie Jane was ill-fated.
Yeah, the brig Annie Jane was ill-fated.
One last kiss, Lauralee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December. The hard wind and rain, a gale soon became. The storm screamed and howled all around her. Then a 60-foot swell broke the mast all to hell, and the Annie Jane started to founder.
Yeah, the Annie Jane started to founder.
The captain called out to bring her about. We'll run up her ashore if we reach it. But a second wave hit, and the quarter-deck split, with 200 souls crushed beneath it.
With 200 souls crushed beneath it.
One last kiss, Laura Lee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December. Young Danny had got in the foul-raking cot as the Annie Jane slipped ever deeper. His last thoughts would be of his love, Laura Lee, and the promise he had meant to keep her.
And the promise he had meant to keep her.
3 dozen score washed up along shore in a 20-yard pit. They were buried, save a young sailing lad whose crew members had to a pile of peat had him carried.
To a pyre of peat had him carried.
One last kiss, Laura Lee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December. Back come snowy December. A box full of ash and dead ember. She stood there alone, her sweet Danny home, as the first snowflakes fell in December.
As the first snowflakes fell in December.
One last kiss, Laura Lee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December. One last kiss, Laura Lee, for I'm 3 months to sea. I'll be back come snowy December.
Miss Fielding,
I shan't be a minute.
I hope the young lady didn't find my song offensive.
Not offensive, good sir. Just cleaves a little close to the bone.
Does it now?
My darling brother Edward was Miss Fielding's fiancé. She went down in the South Americas.
Surely the good Mr. Tackleton here is Miss Fielding's fiancé.
not if it's any of your concern, sir, but Miss Fielding and I only recently entered into this engagement.
So you see, you couldn't have chosen a more hurtful subject for a sea shanty.
Oh, surely, Mary, no way he could have known.
Just a bit of tricky luck.
Of course, of course. No one would ever want to see a sweet girl like May hurt.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm afraid I'll not pass my hour. I thank you for your hospitality. I'll be taking my leave.
Are you sure you don't want to wait for us? I hate to see you get lost out there in this cold.
Young man, if I can find my way from Madagascar to the Dardanelles, I think I can make it a quarter of a mile down a cobblestone lane.
Oh, well, please don't leave because you feel awkward. It was no fault of your own.
Yes, don't mind me. She falls to these weeping melancholies like clockwork.
Does she now? Hourly or quarter hourly, like a bank chime?
I only mean to say,
Yes. She what?
she's a tender, delicate thing. You're getting a kind and sensitive girl, and that is the truth of it.
Well, I'm off. Good night, all.
Night, Commodore.
Good night.
What an odd step he has.
And that voice, something.
Oh, would you look there? The old fellow's forgot his stick. I'll fetch it to him.
I'll take it, Mary. It's brittle cold out there.
Don't bother, John. I won't be out long enough to catch a chill.
How long did you say this Methuselah is going to be boarding with you?
Just a day or so till he gets things straightened out with his agent.
Oh, he's a kind old man. He meant nothing by it.
Perhaps.
I hope you didn't wait for me to start eating. I didn't realize till just this moment I'm famished. Where's Mary and the visitor?
Past the old boy's bedtime. Mary's just gone to take him his stick that he left by the fire.
I agree with John and May. It's time to eat. I'll get the plates.
Let me help it.
Oh, get the glasses.
Mr. Tackleton, will you take up the honors and slice up that fine leg of mutton?
Well, if no one minds the desecration, I'll operate.
Yes, here we go.
something a bit more urgent and personal.
Something about you and May?
It will explain itself if you will step to the window for a moment.
You're being quite mysterious, Mr. Tackleton.
Please. Now, Peerybingle, there can be no violence. Fielding has already endured enough unpleasantries this evening.
Why, Mr. Tackleton, I assure you,
Just give me your word that you'll remain collected and rational.
Oh, of course you have my word. Is the mutton going off? Mary?
Now recall your promise that you made to me,
I
no matter how difficult it might be.
don't understand. What's this mean?
How's that mutton coming along?
Oh, snap it up. I want some with my bread and butter.
Oh, try some of this cheese.
Cheers, yeah.
Oh, a toast.
Well, if there's to be a toast, I suppose.
Well, we can't have a toast. We can't have a toast without Mary. Isn't that right, John? Oh,
There she is. Take up a glass, Mary. It's a toast. Hey, voila. Here's the glass. What's the toast, John? 2 good food, good friends, and good fun.
Here, here.
To good food, good friends, and good fun.
John, are you all right? You look a little pale.
Yes, I'm afraid something has turned my stomach.
Nigel, let's get you home. I'll make you a small pot of peppermint tea. Come along, Tilly.
We'll do it again in a fortnight. With pleasure.
Must be feeling terribly well to leave without so much as a goodbye. I better go. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, we have a busy day tomorrow. Perhaps my daughter and I should be going as well.
Yes, a quite busy day. My cart is right out front.
Thank you so much, Caleb.
oh, no thanks necessary. It was a joy having you here.
Betty, don't be sad. After tomorrow, we'll hopefully see a lot more of each other. Well, you'll be seeing a lot more of me in any case.
Good night, you two.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Caleb. Miss Betty.
Good night, Mr. Tackleton.
Good night. I don't even know his first name.
What's the matter, Betty? You do indeed seem sad tonight.
No, Father. It's my heart. It's broken.
Oh, Betty!
Are you sure you won't have some peppermint tea, John? I made a pot just for you. It'll help with your uneasy stomach.
It's nothing tea can fix. Go to bed, Mary. It's late. Very late.
Is that? I hope you're feeling better in the morning. We have a big day tomorrow.
Big day.
Have you forgotten, John? It's
No, I haven't forgotten.
Well, we've the whole day to ourselves, just the two of us.
3 of us?
Tilly's heading out after breakfast to visit your sister.
I wasn't talking about Tilly.
Of course, the old gentleman.
Yes, the old gentleman.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if his agent doesn't come and pick him up tomorrow.
Perhaps. But what's the old boy's name?
His name?
What's his name?
Why, you know, John, I don't believe he ever said.
So you're saying you don't know who he is?
Yes, I'm sure he never said.
I see. Good night, Mary.
See you in the morning.
What's the old boy's name?
His name?
What's his name?
Why, you know, John, I don't believe he ever said.
What's the old boy's name? What's the old boy's name? What's the old boy's name?
Old fool. Silly old fool. Horrid old man. Horrid old man. Horrid old fool. Silly old fool. Horrid old man. Horrid old man. Horrid old man.
Oh, Mary, darling Mary, you were everything to me. So sweet, so kind, so innocent, that's how you seem to be. Was it all illusion, all that love and tenderness? How could I not have seen it? How did I never guess? Oh, Mary, darling Mary, it all seems so bizarre. It's just the kind of creature that you are. Oh, Mary, darling Mary, this makes no sense to me. A home, a life, a wedding vows, a perfect family. Crushed by this deception, it's more than I can bear. I can't erase that image of you and your lover standing there. Oh, Mary, darling Mary, it all seems so bizarre. It's just the kind of creature that you are. The Bible tells us Eve was the very first to sin. Is she the one to blame for this predicament I'm in? Along came sweet Delilah. She made a big man fall. Poor Samson was betrayed by the unkindest cut of all. When Pharaoh slew the Hebrew babes, he didn't stand alone. It was a vengeful queen that turned his heart to stone. Oh, Mary, darling Mary, you've made a grown man weep. Mary, darling Mary, look at the company you keep. Oh, that demon spawned, little one should burn in flames. He's stolen everything from me and brought me down so low. There's a devil in my house, that stranger has to go. Oh, Mary, darling Mary, how did it come this far? It's just the kind of creatures that we are. It's just the kind of creatures we are. Who are you? Who?
The sound of the crickets on the hearth, they set my mind at ease. They seem to say that everything will be all right, that this will be a happy, happy home.
That was you, all of you.
Those crickets have cheered me and I love them for it. Don't laugh, it's true, I love them for it.
I love them too.
Well, it's true. It was a happy home until she blighted it. A happy home. And now it's all gone. It's all gone.
Not gone, John Peerybingle, but hidden. Hidden by fear and jealousy.
She betrayed me.
Did your Mary betray you? The Mary you know?
So gracefully sweet-tempered,
So domestic.
Joyful?
Busy and light-hearted.
She was all that too. Is why I loved her so.
Love her so.
Loved.
Love. How many times, sitting in front of this very hearth, has she filled you with thoughts of how she brightened and blessed your home?
This hearth, but for her, John, is no more than stone and brick and rusty bar.
But which has been through her the altar of your home, on which you nightly sacrifice some petty passion.
Selfishness or care, and offered up the homage of a tranquil mind.
a trusting nature and an overflowing heart.
So that the smoke from this poor chimney rises upward with a better fragrance than the richest incense that is burned before the richest shrines in all the grand temples of this world. Up on your own hearth.
In its quiet sanctuary.
Surrounded by its gentle influences and associations. Hear her, hear me, hear us, hear everything that speaks the language of her hearth and home.
You plead for her.
All things that speak the language of her hearth and home must plead for her. For they speak the truth.
Who's pounding? Wait a minute! Who's pounding? Mr. Tackleton? It's a bit early for a personal visit, isn't it? House is still asleep.
Sorry, John, but my mind has been ill at ease since last night, and I feared... John Peerybingle, tell me you've done nothing rash in the night. Oh, John, is this murder?
What are you saying?
Where is he, John? What have you done?
Well, the window's open. If he's gone, I've nothing to do with it. I haven't seen him since he left your workshop. Some pretty black notions run across my mind. Yeah. But in the end, I couldn't do it. Besides, the fairies unloaded my gun. Nothing, just a dream. Now, I appreciate your coming by and your concern, I do, but the sun is up. I got a seat on my horse now, and if I'm not mistaken, you have a wedding to get to.
There'll be plenty of time for that. Your wife I'd like to see her.
Told you I've done nothing rash, and if he's gone, maybe she's gone as well. If she has, perhaps that's the kindest way. I don't think I could bear to watch her pack up her things and take our child and go.
And go. So you do mean to take notice of what we saw last night?
Well, it's changed my life forever. I can't unnotice my wife in the arms of another man, a younger man.
Oh, a man who, by his disguise, came with obvious intent to deceive.
He did.
And he was not the only one.
No, he wasn't, but I can't fault Mary for it.
Well, how's that? Their embrace was unmistakably intimate and tender.
That it was, but here's the truth of it. The truth came to me in this past endless night. You see, when I asked for Mary's hand, I knew myself, and I know I'm sometimes slow to act. It took me the better part of a year, considering, pondering, coming to terms with my feelings. But when I finally sat down with her father, I knew I loved her. I knew she was the only one for me. I knew that if I could make her my wife, I'd be the happiest man alive. I'd have everything I ever needed. I only forgot one thing.
And that one thing was?
Mary. Mary. The thing I love most in this world. I didn't give a thought to what her life would be. I just assumed that if I loved her enough, treated her kind, that she would just naturally be happy too. But last night what I had done came to me in its fullness. I took the brightest star that shone. It was often the center of attention, a jewel to a young peer's, full of life and gaiety. And what did I do? Brought her here to this dull house with naught but my tedious company. I wish I'd never done so. For her sake, not for mine. Don't you see, Mr. Tackleton? The fault is not hers, it's mine. I went against nature. My feelings, my damn desires blinded me to what I was doing to that poor girl.
Well, I must say, that's a very generous view of the situation. What do you intend to do?
I'll do the right thing. I'll do right by Mary and release her from this unequal marriage.
No, John, no. You don't understand, John.
I know what I saw, Mary. I know what I know.
You're wrong on both counts, John. You're so wrong.
I surmise, no doubt, that the two of you have a great deal to discuss, so I'll take my leave. John, I'm sorry to be deprived of your good company at the wedding, and I'm grievously sorry for the occasion of it. And as for your revelation in the night, I cannot deny my gnawing concerns that have underscored my optimism for my own impending venture. Though I don't flatter myself that love and affection will be the cornerstone of this union, nevertheless I have pledged my word and my fortunes, so I must keep the former and relinquish the latter. John, Mrs. Peerybingle, I wish you both peace.
John, it's not what you think, John. I sensed there was something wrong last night, but it didn't occur to me that you might have seen him and I together, and that was the source of your stomach unease.
There's no point going over it, Mary. Talk all we might. It won't change the truth.
You don't know the truth, John. You don't know what you saw.
I'll get it. Caleb! Betty, what are you two doing here?
Betty, dear, what's wrong?
Oh, she's been inconsolable, and it's all my fault.
What are you coming in the back door?
Oh, Tim, Tackleton was coming out the front, and I didn't want Mary to see her. Oh, you know what I mean.
He's afraid I'll embarrass him, that we'll lose our position at Hearth and Tackleton.
No, that's not true.
Good
I just wanted
morning,
to show
everyone.
you what...
Oh, what a pleasant surprise. Everyone's here. I was just at the market thinking what a glorious day. And here we are all celebrating the first anniversary of the happiest couple on earth, Mr. and Mrs. Peerybingle. And in an hour or two, a wedding. So improbable it gives hope, even to a career spinster like myself. Hope that love can spring up anywhere, anytime, and sweep you off your feet. I feel giddy like it's Christmas morning, and I've been given the gift of happiness, joy.
Oh my. What have I done? What have I done?
I got a seat of the horse.
Well, this is what starting the day sober is like. I dare not.
Mary, I need your help. I don't think Betty will speak to me hereafter.
Caleb, this is such a difficult time right now. John,
No.
it's all so confusing.
It has something to do with the stranger, doesn't it? Betty said that there's something going on between the two of you. She said she could hear it in your voices. I told her she was wrong. I said Mary would never do anything untoward. And that's why we came to you this morning. I've done something foolish, and I need your help. Betty, I have something to tell you, and I'm afraid you'll never forgive me.
Forgive you for what?
I've lied to my dear Betty.
When?
All her life, since she was a child.
What do you mean?
Oh, you've had such a tough road, the tragedy of your blindness. I just wanted to make this world a happier place for you.
Tragedy of my blindness?
Yes.
My blindness means nothing to me. Why, I no more miss my sight than a pig misses its wings. My blindness is your tragedy. It's your shame.
Not shame, my dear. Pity.
Caleb, what lies would you confess, Father? That we live in a hovel? That our beautiful china is nothing more than a stack of mismatched cheap chip pieces of hand-me-down crockery? Do you not
Betty,
think,
Betty.
blind as I am, that I can't feel the draft coming in through a broken window? That I don't know that your fine blue greatcoat was stitched together from a display case packing quilt?
How long have you known?
How long have I known? I've known from 5 seconds before the lie could escape your lips, Father.
Then why have you never said something?
Because I love those lies. I love to hear you tell them. I hear Father's love in every foolish syllable you utter.
It's not just their home and the objects and things that I fancified. It's people, too.
You're not going to tell me that Father Christmas isn't real, are you? Well, what about Mary? Was she not real? Mary, aren't you one of my father's fancies?
I've never felt more real than I do today.
You know what I'm talking about. Tackleton.
Well, what's Tackleton got to do with this, with anything?
Tackleton is marrying May this morning, and that's an end to it.
And to what?
What's all this then? You've given them all the sordid details?
We can talk about this later, Tom.
It's already later. Tilly!
Yes, Mr. Peerybingle?
Help Mary pack up her things. She's going home to her mother.
What? John, I understand why you're doing this stuff, but there's things you don't know.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Peerybingle, please don't do anything rash. It's all my fault. I fell prey to the siren song of sobriety. Second nature, my dear. Everything's topsy-turvy. But don't you fear. I'm going to set things straight right now.
Someone's coming? Was someone in a rented carriage going on delivery? I can tell that by the way the old nag limps.
I bet just about all the surprise visitors I could contend with today.
Caleb, look at me. If you could hear any voice in the world, see any faces, would they be?
Oh, you know what the answer is, Mary, but it's not possible. My son Jeff, who was lost, my son Edward, who was lost at sea.
Lost, Father, but now I am found.
Edward?
Edward! My son!
I know that voice, Edward!
My son is back!
You're alive!
So, it was you! I'm at a loss. The Edward I knew would never have treated a friend that way.
And the John I knew would never judge a man before he'd heard his side of it.
Well, I'll not do less than what's fair, Edward, and I'm glad you're alive. Very glad indeed.
I suppose Mary's told you all about my plan, then.
I've been trying to tell him all morning, but he's been too busy to hear.
What plan?
Yeah, so why this ridiculous disguise? Why have you hidden all your return to us?
All that nonsense came about at the last moment. You know that when I left, I was in love. Deeply in love with the most lovely girl in the world, and she returned that love. And we pledged to each other before I left that when I returned, we would marry.
You're talking about May.
Of course, May.
But as I arrived in Castleton a few days ago, I was greeted with busy talk on the streets of May's marriage. The talk was that she had found a new love, a richer love, and that her wedding was but 2 days away. I had to see her. I had to see for myself that she no longer loved me. I went to see an old friend from the theater, and I costumed myself, unlike myself, the old man you took in.
You can imagine my shock when I took the teacup from him 2 days ago in front of his fireplace. And Well, he gave me a wink and I knew at once it was Edward.
Why didn't you tell
That
me?
was my fault. I swore her to secrecy. I'm sorry, old chap, but you're too honest to keep a secret. Once I learned that May was married and that May was not in love with Tackleton, I knew what I had to do.
Well, what do you have to do?
May I present Mrs. Edward Plummer.
It's true. It's a miracle. And it's true.
Edward, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for me. My son is back. My son is back.
Mary, please
Not
forgive.
quite so fast, John. Don't forgive me yet.
But Mary.
No, John, no. Here, don't love me anymore, John, for you've heard every word I have to say. It was wrong of me to have a secret from you, John. I'm very sorry. I didn't think it any harm, but when I saw you this morning and how hurt you were, I thought perhaps it was wrong of me to keep Edward's secret. But dear John, how could you? How could you think so low of me? No, John, don't love me for a long time yet, please. When I was sad about this intended marriage, dear, it was because I remembered Edward and May, such young lovers, and I knew that your heart was far away from Tackleton. Will you believe that now, don't you, John?
But of course, dear
No,
Mary.
No, keep there. You please, John. When I laugh at you, as I sometimes do, and I call you clumsy and a dear old goose, it's because I love you, John, so well, and I take such pleasure in your ways, and I wouldn't see you altered in the least respect, but to have you made a king tomorrow.
That's a universal opinion, John.
Mary.
No, don't love me for another minute or two, if you please. And we were talking the other night about the cricket, so I had it on my lips to say that at first I did not love you quite so dearly as I do now. That when I first came home here, I was half afraid I mightn't learn to love you every bit as well as I hoped and prayed I might. Being so very young, John. Dear John, every day and hour I loved you more and more. And if I could have loved you better than I do, both in the noble words I heard you say this morning would have made me. Now, my dear husband, take me to your heart again. That's my home.
My life.
I did it! I'll set nature back to rights. Spirits have done it all in one pint. I promise never to stray again. Oh, listen, the crickets are happy too. There seems to be a lot more of them about.
Oh, can fill your senses with the things that you hold dear. All the simple pleasures that you see, smell, touch, taste, and hear. All the subtle wonders that can make your senses reel. And fill your heart to bursting with the happiness you feel.
Such as?
Smell of pipe tobacco is a scent that I adore.
Feel of Mary's arms about me thrills me to the core.
The only taste I long for is the taste of victory. My beloved smile is my
Whoa.
favorite
The sounds.
John, may Mrs. Fielding and I come in?
Well, of course, Mr. Tackleton, Mrs. Fielding.
Thank you, John. I thought I might find the entire cast of players here. I was at my home preparing to meet May and her mother when Mrs. Fielding arrived at my door in great distress with this note clutched in her hand.
If you'll permit me, sir, I believe I can give explanation.
Edward Plummer. So it is true, you have returned home from the dead. Well done. Caleb, Betty, you have my sincere congratulations on the return of your son and brother. I can scarcely imagine the relief you must be feeling.
Oh, it's a miracle, that's what it is. A miracle and nothing short.
Yes, it would seem that a divine hand had played a part in this reunion. But, if you will all indulge me for a moment, to take exception to the underhanded, deceitful, and shabby way the conspirators in this charade have behaved.
Mr. Tackleton, I have always been forthcoming with you with regards to my previous engagement and my feelings towards Edward, even after I supposed him to be dead. And I hope you do me the justice to recall that I made them plain on more than one occasion.
If you'll permit me, sir.
You may not be permitted, sir. I will have my say, make my peace, and then you will be done with me. Miss Fielding, you indeed were both clear and painfully precise with regard to your intentions. So I hope you will do me the justice to recall that I employed no heavy persuasion, no pressure, no ungentlemanly machinations of any type. Is that not true?
Yes.
Then why? Why was it thought that this bizarre masquerade, this dangerous intrigue was necessary? And I say dangerous because you, young man, have no idea the near deadly consequences you could have brought upon this house.
I do regret it, sir. And I tell you that my folly's sole purpose was to see May without being seen. That is, without insinuating myself unwelcomely into her new life. And when it came to action, I'll be the first to say that it was expedient, but in no way honorable. And for that you do have my apology, though I can't be sorry for the outcome.
Well, then I accept your apology. And I'll say no more on the subject, except to say thank you.
Say thank you for sneaking behind your back.
Yes, quite. You see, John, when you bore your sorrow to me this morning, I was quite moved. All your fears about plucking a star from the firmament and bringing such a bright young thing into a dreary domestic arrangement, well, your words echoed in my conscience all morning long. Truth be known, I had decided to terminate the arrangement, but I had pledged my fortunes and given my word, so I felt compelled to release half my holdings to the Fielding family. But now that May has run off and gotten married to another man, that won't be necessary.
Oh, May!
I'm happy to be of service to you, Mr. Tackleton. And Mrs. Fielding, mother, you need not concern yourself over financial matters. My time in golden South America has been well spent, and I have returned to the Isle of Man with no small fortune, which I have no doubt will restore and remunerate the houses of Fielding and Plummer to their former good standing.
My dear friend John, I do hope you take no exception to my referring to you as my dear friend.
Oh, none.
It's the first time I believe I've used the appellation without intending sarcasm. You have, John, taught me by example what it means to be a truly good person. You are the golden rule personified.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Oh, it's true, John.
That and more.
Well, if my wife says it, I suppose it must be true.
I mean to profit by that example, and by profit I mean my mortal soul shall profit. Caleb, Miss Plummer, I owe you both an apology. You came to me in difficult times, and I took advantage of it. And I kept you dependent upon me, and it had nothing to do with money. It was jealousy, envy, and I was covetous of your joy. I don't know how many times I stood just outside the entrance of the shop and listened to your laughter and your ridiculous singing. And somehow, just being closer to the two of you made me feel a part of something larger than myself. And yet, I couldn't stand in your room for more than 60 seconds without saying some horrible thing to you, Betty Plummer. For the life of me, I don't understand why I call you a simpleton, for I find that you have a savage intellect. Don't correct me on this. I feel certain that's an accurate description of it. Why I feel compelled to tease and taunt you, I have no idea.
I have some thoughts on that subject.
Would you be so good as to share them with me?
It may take some time and effort for you to come to a true understanding of your condition.
Well, I do hope that you will take the time. Mrs. Peerybingle, you certainly have done me no kindness in this affair. Now I've come to be cast as the devil in your book, I'll never know. Though Miss May did cast me as Hades in her song yesterday, so allow there could be something to it. I'll take my leave now and let you all join in your celebration. But there is one revelation I would like to share that came to me this morning after speaking to my good friend John. Mrs. Fielding had just given me the news. I felt anger rising up in me. Just as it did, I heard this strange clicking noise. It was the strangest sound. It had the most peculiar effect on me. I looked across the room, and these two huge cockroaches went scurrying across the floor. It was them that was making this noise, this rhythm, this tune, if you will. And suddenly, right then and there, I had an epiphany, a revelation.
What was it, Mr. Tackleton?
What was this revelation?
Well, my realization was that those devilish bugs were going to get into that cake. All the food I'd bought for the wedding, those black bugs were going to be feasting on it. The cake, the food, the drinks. So, I brought them here. They're out in my car.
Oh, I'll get them.
Let me help.
Cockroaches! As big as a man's fist.
Beetles!
Did you step on them?
Funny thing is, I meant to, but I didn't have the heart to smash them. It's confounding. I'll never get over that sound. It's the strangest thing I ever heard. Oh, I brought toys for the child. They're not the ugly ones like I make. Right there. I've had my say. I wish you all the best of the day. Goodbye.
Well, Mr. Tackleton, you'd be welcome to stay. More than welcome.
Tell us again about the seeing cockroaches.
We're beetles!
There's a sound so strange and eerie. There's a tune so dark and gray. When the day seems all too cheery, the tiny voice takes the cloud away. The sound that lifts my spirits is the cockroach when they sing. Don't ask me why, I can't explain the harmony they bring. Whenever they are singing, I feel peaceful as a dove. A cockroach in your home is sure